Hi everyone, welcome to our SAP Tips and Tricks session today from Fergestic. James is going to be presenting version 9.2, and as I said in my email that I sent to everyone, it's such a big topic and we have so much to show you guys on this that we're doing it in 2 sessions. So today James is going to show us version 9.2. We're going to be looking at administration and financials. We're going to be looking at sales and purchases, banking operations, and inventory. So welcome. I'll let James begin, and I'm just going to pick back up at the end and let you know what we're going to be seeing next week. So thanks, James. I'll let you go.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right.
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to our webinar on 9.2. It's going to be a relatively high-level presentation. Each of the topics that we're going to cover has full presentations available for them, but I think I've selected the best changes that are available at this time, so I will present that. I'm actually got this. Okay. Oh, okay. So here's what I'm planning on covering in this webinar. SAP has extended the field links in several of the databases. There's a function called Quick Copy, which will allow you to copy data into other groups and so forth. I'm going to have a discussion on the business partner data ownership. That's a new feature in 9.2, pretty powerful one. I'm going to introduce you to the job service, which is how the alerts and email SBO mailer are being governed. I'm going to show you how they've changed the journal entries from marketing documents to have more detail in them. So they're actually posting line by line. I will talk a little bit about the virtual item for fixed assets. I think I skipped check payment authorization, but project management's another present new addition in the software. And with this addition, you're allowed to reopen your sales and purchase orders at the time when you're changing the document, and they've got some new document linking features. Okay, so first off, we'll talk about the change in the field size. So when you go into your inventory master data and go up into view and set your system information on, then what you can do is you can go in and have a look. And now the item number field has been extended to 100 characters. So that will enable you to, or the description is 100 characters and the item number is 50 characters. So they've made that in a couple of places where they've improved the extension of the fields. So in business partner master data, we're going to select the business partner, and in here we have the business partner description field is now 100 characters, and the BP code is now up to 50 characters. And I'm going to go back into the item number. And if you look at the item master file and you look at your purchasing data, your manufacturer's catalog number is now 50 characters. This gives you the opportunity when you're looking at increasing the field sizes and the descriptions, so that, for example, if you had a product line that had different sizes, different colors, different sets of packaging, you could do that description within the description now that you have 100 characters. The other area that they've increased the field size is under the setup general users, and now the user code has 25 characters in it, whereas you were limited to, I think, 8, 10, or 15. So that covers the extension of the field links to give you more flexibility. Okay. The other function that they've improved is the quick copy. And you find quick copy under Administration, Systems Initialization, Implementation Center, and Implementation Tasks. And down here, you can copy data between companies. And that's the quick copy. And it will allow you to copy different data between companies, and you can do some copying within the company. So for example, if you set up an authorization group, you can copy those authorization groups. The quick copy works where if you started up another subsidiary in Canada, you could use quick copy to rapidly set it up, because you could copy a lot of the tables and everything across. It does not work between localizations though. You can't copy a Canadian company to a US jurisdiction. So under the data carriers for quick copy, the new things that you can copy across are user group authorizations, data ownership, forecast, completion of financial models, field naming and formatting, and multi-language translation. And if you're a HANA customer, you can copy the cockpits across. So it's more flexible and supporting more objects, making it easy to copy and update objects such as the authorizations. Okay, the next one is the concept of business partner ownership. In my past life as controller of a medical products company, one of our challenges was we only wanted our sales guys to see their own customers, their own documents, and so you had to do a lot of manual reporting in order to give them reports that was specifically for their products and customers. Now in 9.2, you can set up the system so that you can restrict access to different functions within the software down to the individual or down to the document. It's controlled in Setup, General. So in the general settings, you enable data ownership. And once you've said managed by business partner only, then this box comes up, which will allow the business partner without an owner. And what that means is if there's no owner for the business partner, that anybody can access that specific business partner. If you've enabled the ownership of the business partner, then only the owner can go in there. Now you can give different levels of authorization from throughout your organization. So you may have a sales rep that only has access to his customers, but the sales manager for that region would have access to the customer group in that region, and then maybe your VP sales has access to all of it. So you'd structure your organization like that to build in the security. The other place where the document ownership comes into play is within the business partner master file. So what you'll see in the business partner master file now is there's an owner field within it. So if you go in there, you can assign to an employee that they're the owner of that particular customer. So I'm going to give that to Mr. Karras, and now he can see this customer himself. None of the other sales reps will do that. So the area where you do that assignment is under your administration, systems in this, oh, is it, let me set up. So under, So you can take specific documents and set up the ownership function within that specific document itself. So if you go into the per documents, so I'm going to pick up like sales order, and so in here you can say that in your authorizations that the user can only see that specific item. So under authorizations, you have now a data ownership option, and if you go within the data ownership option, you can set up your authorizations. So in here, you can take an employee, like the fellow I just did, and he has authorizations for full authorizations given to the manager for him. None of his peers can see it. If you want somebody to have the full authorizations to all documents, if you select company, then that gives them authorization to all their particular documents. But what we've done here is we've said that, you know, this person now has this business partner and he has access to that particular partner. So that's the steps through which you would set up the document ownership function. Ownership sharing operation. Okay, so we also have the ability to have an additional layer of security, and by excluding specific items or specific customers from their approvals. I'll be sending out a copy of the slide presentation to you folks so that you'll be able to see this, and we'll see this in a sec. The next change that's occurred is with the alerts. In the past, the alerts were driven by within the SBO mailer, and now the big challenge that they had is if you were logged out of the system, then you weren't receiving any alerts. And so what they've done is they've put the alert service within the system landscape directory. So what that means is if there's alerts coming out and you're not logged in, you're still going to get the alert. So if it's an email alert, so for example, if you're an operations manager and you have a machine monitoring system and the machine goes down and you're set up to have an alert, in the past, unless you were logged in, you wouldn't get the email. Now you will get the email if the machine goes off spec. So, and where that occurs is within the server tools. So you go in and run the service manager, and the service manager's right here. So I double clicked on the service manager, and okay, here we go. So in the service manager, we now have the setup for the job service mailer. So you got the opportunity to do scheduling in here, settings for your email and alerts, your connection. Now, if you go through the license manager and into the license manager settings and you go to configure security, it's going to come up with a browser and give you a browser warning like this. So, but we're going to continue to the website. You need to log in as the B1 site user. The B1 site user is established at the time that you're installing the system landscape directory, and somebody in your shop should know how to get into this. And they should be able to use the password right. Well, this is embarrassing. Excuse me. Sorry, I've been working on system landscape directories in other companies, and I have to have a whack of passwords to get into this. So this is the system landscape directory, and in here you have a list of all of your databases. Now the system landscape directory its purpose is to secure your logins, because the passwords are stored in the system landscape directory. They're not stored in SAP B1. So this is like a 128-bit encrypted file. So in here now there's a new tab called Services, and there's two new services available in 9.2. One of them is the job service alert that I was discussing, and the other is the browser access. I'll cover the browser access in the next session we have. Okay, so now what I have here is a URL that's going to take me to the alert service field. So as you can see, there's the alert service. I've selected my database server in here, selected which databases I wanted to have the service. So now the service is running. So I can feel fairly confident that the alerts are working. It's been very challenging to get this feature to work perfectly. I've had to reinstall the server tool several times to get it to work properly, but now it is working. And if you want to confirm under your task manager, and you go into services and bring up your service database, and now I can go down here to the SAP services. So in here are the SAP services, and they'll have started, or running as a status. As you can see in here, this is the service for the alerts. So the SAP Business One job service backend. So in order to make the alert work for you when you create it, you have to select the new user that's the SAP Business One alert user. So if I go into, give you that back. Okay, so I'm going to go under Administration, Setup, General, Users, and Control F. So now you see here is the new alert service user. So when you're setting up your alerts, if you want the alerts to go when the user's not logged in, then you have to select the alert service user as a member of the alert group, and then it'll go to the users after hours. Okay, the other new feature in 9.2 is down in the human resource area. Now you can go to the employee master data, and I'm going to pick Mr. Karras and choose him. And now what I can do is right mouse click and put a relationship map in there. So James Karras directly reports to Jixing. Now if I go into this, I can get myself an organizational chart, and there's the organization as per the way my test system is set up. So the relationship map is new in the human resource area. The other things that are new are within Excel, you can import the price lists and the business partner catalog numbers. Also, you can use the enter key as a tab key. So now you can set it up that when you press enter, the cursor goes to the next field. I don't know how many times I've hit enter and completed a transaction that I wasn't ready to complete because I thought enter would get me to the next field. This will definitely overcome that. Okay, so aligning the posting of the journal entries with the marketing documents. So right now, if I go into my sales AR and I go into an AR invoice, and I'll see if I can file it in a multi-line one. Okay, so now if I go up and I select my journal entry preview, you can now see that the journal entry has the detail of lines of the document. So, and I always found that as an accountant that it was way better to reconcile stuff when you have all the detail instead of trying to take apart a journal entry that's got a massive amount of data in it. So that's the journal entries with marketing documents. Okay, project management. Now, project management has been enhanced quite a bit in SAP. So when you go into administration, system initialization, company details, and you come down here, you look at the bottom of it. So you got basic initialization under the company details, and you have a flag for enable project management. You won't see the project management option on the menu until you do click that. So that'll get you started with the project management. And there are some setup issues along with project management. So down here you can set up stages of your activities for projects. So this is just the default that it came with. But for example, as a SAP guy, I might have pre-sales as my first step, initial meeting as second stage, blueprint as stage 3, project realization stage 4, and go live. So I would put those stages in here for setup. And the other thing is the activity types. So in here, you could, in your projects, if you have different activities like project management or project execution or any other aspects of your particular projects, then you can set them up within the activity type. So now we have this project management function that will allow us to set up some different projects. So I just put one in here just for illustration purposes, and so you can get an overview of the project, the stages on what the planned cost is for those stages. You can get a summary report. Once you start filling in all of the particular data, then you can have summary reports and remarks and the ability to include attachments. Project management is a pretty big subject. Not possible to cover it all here, but there is a full presentation on project management available.
James, I have a question for you.
Sure.
I think because we had said that 9.2 had so much to cover. I thought that we were going to be covering project management next week, but since you just touched on it, do you think that maybe next week when we do come back to the second part of 9.2, maybe we could look into that with some activities and see how someone could better manage their projects? Since at least now we know like the basic module and what they added in, do you think we could look into something on how we could elaborate on the projects?
Sure. I agree, but I think I don't think it's appropriate for a highlights. I think we need a full set. That'd be a full 30 minutes. on project
Just on
management by
project.
itself.
Okay, well, maybe we could look
Yeah.
into, okay, I'll let you go with that
Okay.
then. And all right, I'll talk to everybody later. All right, back to you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the other thing that is new in the system is the reopen of the sales and purchase orders. So in the past, if you issued a credit note, you could never adjust the original documents. Now with purchase orders and sales orders, you can set them up in the document setting to reopen the document after creating a return goods. So that would basically be under administration, system initialization, document settings, per document, got the sales order, and now you can reopen the document by creating returns goods return credit memo. I'm still trying to figure out how you would benefit from that. It says you can decide whether to reopen the item, and it supports real business scenarios that you want to change into sales order. That happens all the time. So this is a good feature. If customer orders 100 units, then phones you back, says, oops, I made a mistake, that should be 10, right? This way you can just go back and change the original document instead of issuing a counter document and reopening a new one. Okay, another feature is document linking. So, and what this means is, when you bring up your normal relationship map, it only maps you to the related documents through the transaction process. Well, now you can identify another document that you would like to link into this relationship map, and then you can further investigate that particular order. So you may have had a purchase order with a vendor that relates to this sales order, and you want to make sure that you've got those two tied together. So then you would go into the document, you would set it to be linked into your system, and then through the relationship map you would see that particular document. So if I go into, let's see, our invoice. So here you get the normal relationship map, and now in this drop-down box down here below, you can go into reference documents. So I guess I haven't referenced anything. So if I had completed the demo with that, there should be a linked document in here. So it can be a very useful tool, especially in a complex organization. Okay, and the final topic for today is the price update wizard. They've put a brand new feature into 9.2 that will allow you to update your prices en masse. So if I go into inventory and I go into price lists, you'll now see that there is a price update wizard. So the price update wizard will allow you to multiply, divide, add, subtract, or use equal to as the method for updating your price. You can do it based on a price list. You can convert to a complete foreign currency. So if you had a Canadian price list and you just wanted a standard US and 35 points, you could convert your whole Canadian price list to US. And you can do it by unit of measure. So I'm just going to do a 10% price increase, and I'm going to just do a couple items. And then I'm going to go next. It's going to say based on what price list. I'm going to do it based on my regular sales price. And So now here's the items, and the current price is $600, and when I pull the trigger, it's going to be there for $660. So if you were doing an inflation rate price increase to all of your products, this way you could go in and put in the inflation and execute it and update the prices. So those are the main topics that that I had to cover today. Let me just kind of summarize where we were at. Okay. I got to get this thing over there. Doesn't want to show up on this monitor, so I'll do it this way. Okay, so we talked about the extension of the field links, item number, BP catalog, resource, and user code. We discussed quick copy and how you could use them to advance these different fields from one database to another. The business partner ownership was discussed, so you can assign an owner to a business partner, and then that would restrict that owner from looking at other people's stuff, just their own. There's a couple of different tables where that's set up. This is where the authorizations, and you can have data ownership sharing options, so you can share it with more than one person, and the sharing options help. The job service was discussed. This is new for the alerts. The human resource relationship map, and a couple of new administrative changes, import from Excel, enter from the key tab, aligning of posting entries with marketing documents. You now get more detailed lines in your journal entries. Project management, big topic, deserves a lot of work to get that done. Reopening your sales and purchase orders so that, after you've posted a sales order and the customer comes back and changes it, it's nice to be able to just reopen it and change it. And then the special document linking, being able to add different documents into linking with it, and the price update wizard. And that concludes my presentation.
Well, thank you very much, James. Does anybody have any questions? James, I don't know if we can enlarge that, what we're seeing there, because I just want people to be reminded that on that second page, with Cynthia's email at support.
Yep. Hang on, I'm working on it.
That's all right. So you go ahead with it. So
for some reason, with my secondary monitor, I've had to go back and forth.
That's all right. Well, look, so it's just a reminder, if anybody has, that's really small. So it's support SAP at forgestic.com. But if you can't find it, you've got my email. The email is the one that I sent everybody the invite to. So, but use your support desk if you have questions on anything, be it on our coffee breaks or anything, just call them or send them an email. It's included in your maintenance plan. And for next week, we'll be going back into 9.2 because we had so much to cover on this. So we'll just go over a few other things that we didn't have time to discuss today. So thanks everybody for being here today. And if you want a copy of this, I recorded this for James's session. So it might be really handy if you want to have it saved, in your own system, or maybe to share with some colleagues. Just let me know. I've got this recorded. Send me an email and I'll share it through my Dropbox. So have a great weekend, everybody, and thanks for coming. Thanks.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you.